Ladies and gentlemen, we have another update on the Juan Soto trade saga. Ken Rosenthal says multiple clubs saying Nationals ask for Soto is 4 to 5 top youngsters, combo of prospects and major leaguers with low service time. 10 days from the deadline, Nationals aren't negotiating, one executive says. A team either shows willingness to meet the price or the Nationals move on. So guys, once again, the Nationals are negotiating from a position of leverage. Considering Juan Soto has 2.5 years remaining on his deal, worst case scenario, they hold him until the offseason, where they then look to move him to likely a bigger pool of teams in the offseason. The problem, of course, is Juan Soto will become less valuable in the offseason because you'd only get him for 2 playoff pushes, not 3 if they decide to trade him right now. A lot of fan base is not happy about this. 4 to 5 top prospects, 4 to 5 young players, but this is what it's going to cost to trade for, a guy like Juan Soto who has 2.5 years remaining. I've seen some different mock trades from the MLB pipeline and things like that, and it's just such a sham. They're always underselling how valuable and what Juan Soto actually is worth. And again, guys, the Nationals are saying, listen, you either need to bring 4 to 5 top young players to the table, or we're not even going to discuss. Now, I will say, how does the Corbin contract play into this whole situation? Because the Nationals must understand that if they include Corbin and they want to shed his contract, you're not going to get as many prospects, because a team obviously is not going to want to take on Patrick Corbin's terrible contract. And here are some trades. This, I would say, would be one of the best trades for the Nationals. You're getting back 3 elite young players / prospects, including Mackenzie Gore, former top 10 prospect. Abrams has played in the MLB. He's a franchise shortstop. And Hassel is one of the best outfield prospects in baseball. And you're also getting rid of Patrick Corbin's deal. So this would be a trade, if I am the Nationals, I'd be really interested in doing. Obviously, you want to hear all your offers, of course, but that's interesting. And then here's another one with the Cardinals. They would be shedding the Corbin contract and trading for 4 young players / prospects. Tyler O'Neill, I don't know how interested they'd be in him. But you've got Jordan Walker, of course, the superstar third base prospect. So the situation with the Nationals, I expect Juan Soto will be, everyone's saying, we're expecting he will be traded by the August 2nd trade deadline. Of course, right now, the Nationals, they're going to address everything. They're going to look at all their options. I do think there is some motivation to move Soto just to get that extra haul back, and also possibly to get rid of some of Patrick Corbin's deal. I think the most likely scenario right now is they'll trade Soto and Corbin, but they'll eat about half of Corbin's contract. So the team that takes Corbin on will take on half of his bad contract, the Nationals, and whatever team they trade with. I think maybe the Dodgers, although I don't know, the Dodgers don't want to give up Gavin Lux, but maybe the Dodgers, maybe the Cardinals. Of course, the Yankees are also interested. It gets a little bit tougher with the Yankees because they don't have the young players really to give up unless the Nationals wanted Gleyber Torres. And to me, it doesn't make sense. Why would the Nationals want Gleyber Torres? He's only got 1.5 years left on his contract. If you're looking to build a young nucleus, you would much rather have someone like CJ Abrams than Gleyber Torres. If, for the contract situation alone, CJ Abrams, with all the service time, with very little service time, he's got not even in arbitration. That's why if the Padres want to do something, if they would want to give up Abrams, Gore, you would see them as a poll favorite for Juan Soto. So it's going to take a lot. We've heard that. I'm just going to run through some of these rumors. We've got the Guardians actively shopping Zach Plesac, who's pitched better recently, guys. As a Guardians fan, personally, I think this is fine. I'm fine with the Guardians trading Ahmed Rosario, trading Plesac, seeing what you can get, getting more prospects back, or just different players. The Guardians have a ton of young, really good-looking prospects. That's why they've got to trade Ahmed Rosario. But, second in the division, it's the worst division in baseball. The Guardians are the youngest team in baseball. There's very little I'm expecting from the Guardians in the second half in terms of a playoff push. So Plesac could be a back-end arm for a contender, more of a depth piece, but he has pitched better recently, and he would bring back, a mid-tier prospect, I would say. I think, Plesac is under arbitration next year as well, and then he's a free agent. Also, we've got JD Martinez very likely to be traded. It looks like they're saying Boston might not have a fire sale, but I would expect 100% when it comes to the Red Sox, JD Martinez to get traded and Xander Bogaerts. They're not going to be re-signing Xander Bogaerts. It's so obvious. They're going to give all the money to Devers. Let Xander Bogaerts go. They already gave Trevor Story that terrible contract, so my expectation with the Red Sox, trade the veterans, trade Bogaerts, get a fringe top 100 prospect back. You're not going to get a ton back for Bogaerts due to his contract. And also trade JD Martinez, who's kind of tailed off recently. He was tearing the cover off the baseball earlier in the year. But that's what I expect the Red Sox to do. What did they lose? 28-5 or something a few days ago. They're really in a tailspin right now. We've got the Brewers actively serious contenders for Andrew Benintendi. Of course, we heard the report yesterday. Also, the Yankees very interested in Benintendi, and that would be a pure rental. So if you're the Royals, there's obviously no sense in keeping Benintendi, but you also have to temper your expectations on your return. If I'm trading with the Royals, personally, I would much rather trade for Whit Merrifield. It's probably going to cost even less, and Merrifield is under a team-friendly deal next year. He got off to a horrible start, but he's been hitting better recently. He can play multiple positions, but Benintendi is the better pure hitter if you're just looking at like an outfield hitter. So it doesn't surprise me that the Brewers are interested, the Yankees interested, and then we've also got the Josh Bell market with the Astros, Brewers, and Mets, and I actually did a mock trade Josh Bell to the Mets. It says the Mets and Brewers currently have offers on the table. The Astros don't. I'm sure the Nationals are in no big hurry to trade Josh Bell. Wait closer to the deadline. He's obviously going to get moved. He is a free agent at the end of the year, so there's no sense for the Nationals to keep him. And then we've got a few trades to look at. This is the Yankees acquiring Benintendi. I thought this was funny. You can take a look at the Royals fans. 2 likes, 56 dislikes. I guess they're displeased with, those prospects. But the Royals have to understand you're just not going to get much for Benintendi. He's only worth 8 in terms of his trade value, and that's because he's a free agent at the end of the year. If he was signed to a team-friendly contract for multiple years, now you're talking. Now you're talking about getting a few top prospects back for him. But Royals fans have to start being realistic. Maybe they just don't like the prospects, but you're not going to get a ton back for Benintendi. This was one that is not. I don't know why I included this one. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know why the Diamondbacks would want Ahmed Rosario or Zach Plesac. They are not buying. I was thinking about Ahmed Rosario maybe to the Brewers. Ahmed is I wouldn't say a really good, but he's a solid hitter. He doesn't walk much. He doesn't hit for much power, but he's a line drive hitter. His defense is really suspect at short and in the outfield. There's really no position. The Guardians have a bunch of middle infield prospects right now that's kind of clogging up the system. So I would say, Ahmed Rosario could get traded for an outfield prospect, and then Zach Plesac's only worth 7. I wonder if Zach Plesac's a free agent next year. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he is. And then here are the mock trades for Luis Castillo, who I think the Yankees, if they're not going to get Juan Soto, which it almost seems like a pipe dream at this point, depending on, I've talked about the Yankees thing. They can just get outbid. They don't have the young talent that the Cardinals do. They don't have the young talent that some of these other teams do. This would be a mock trade for Luis Castillo that I would 100% do if I'm the Yankees. You're giving up Peraza. He's a top 100 prospect. It's tough, but other than that, really nothing to write home about. I mean, If I'm Brian Cashman and I'm trying to trade for Luis Castillo, you have to understand he's also under contract next year. And I'm like, listen, I don't want to trade Austin Wells. I don't want to trade Dominguez, and I'm not trading Volpe. If you can get a deal done for Castillo without giving up those three, I would really, really do that if I am the Yankees. And you're going to have to give up stuff because Castillo's price is going to get driven up by other teams. This is the Twins. I would not advise the Twins do this and really go all in. But, you know, Austin Martin, I believe he was a Blue Jays prospect and then got traded for Jose Barrios. And then you can see some of the other. So they're number 2, they're number 3, they're number 6 prospects. That's a haul. I know the Twins farm system isn't great, but still, that's a much better haul in my opinion than the Yankees. Well, I don't know. It's comparable. I would say it's better than the Yankees. It's better, more quality players, in my opinion. And then this is the Astros. Now, this one really makes no sense. The Astros, it seems like they have a lot of starting pitching depth as it is. But Hunter Brown would be the number 1 overall prospect in their farm system. He is a top 100 farm system. That is who the... I think Luis Castillo is worth more than this, honestly, than these mock trades are saying. But you are getting 4 prospects there inside their top 30, including 3 inside their top 8. So, guys, that is the current situation. The Juan Soto thing, you know, it'll be real interesting to see what team, if he does get moved, which I expect him to. I think they're going to want to trade him right now and possibly attach some of that Corbin deal to him. A lot of fans are prospect hugging. They don't want to give up their guys for Soto. But at the end of the day, you get Juan Soto at least 2.5 years. A team like the Cardinals, I mean, you're talking about a World Series, very, you know, possible contender. You're definitely going to win the Central, or you would expect to at least win the Central. So the Cardinals, maybe the Padres, although it's a little more risky if you're the Padres, the Dodgers, the Yankees. It would have to be, with the Yankees, I think it's going to have to be just your entire farm system. Because you can throw in Gleyber Torres. You know, I don't see anyone else on the MLB club that the Nationals would really be interested in that's young. Like the Dodgers have Will Smith. They have Gavin Lux. I don't know if they would trade those guys, but they would be, you know, guys that have a ton of value. Cardinals have all those young outfielders, Carlson, O'Neill. So those are the type of teams I really think would match. You know, the Padres, Mackenzie Gore's already up. And, well, actually, it took Mackenzie Gore like 5 years to get to the MLB because he was drafted out of high school. It felt like he was a prospect for like 15 years. It was crazy. But either way, that's just the current Juan Soto situation. They are going to get their top prospects back. He's worth it. We'll see if any team, I think there's going to be a team that ends up meeting the demand or at least makes it close enough to where they'll take on all of or at least some of Corbin's contract to make it work. So that's the current situation there, but that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.